Yeah. So AEW debuted on Max, the mother of all simulcasts. I have YouTube TV. Well, okay, let me be honest. I have my cousin's YouTube TV password, so I'm able to watch Dynamite usually on DVR. And but I pay for Max, so I was like, I'm gonna watch this damn thing on Max. So after it's over, I pull up Max, and the shit is I hear Carlos Cabrera. It's in Spanish. I'm like, what the hell? So I ended up having to pull up YouTube TV to watch the damn show, and then I checked it like an hour later, and thankfully the English version was back up. So I did get to check a little bit out of it. But what was your experience like? And what do you think of AEW on Max? What do you think of the new entrance song? And how do we feel about Cope?
So my feed was not great, but I think that's more on my unreliable rural internet than I was on Max because I didn't see any complaints anywhere but me. So I think that was on my internet. I always have issues with the TBS app. So as long as we're good on my end, I think it's just going to be fine. The video quality was significantly better, right? I liked that I could start the show because I think I started at 9:45 Chicago time. So I was like 90 minutes behind and I got to just rewind the live feed and it played out great. So I'm glad that I'm free of the time constraints of what TBS does. So that was pretty cool. The show started and I heard the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited. And I'm watching this going, is this a fucking joke? Are they the Pointer Sisters? Dude, I am a classic rock fan through and through. Like, I got my Spotify Wrapped. I had 60,000 hours of music listened to in 2024 because I just play it in the classroom all day long.
Yeah.
Right. I am in the top 001% of Pearl Jam listeners and the top 001% of Asia listeners in the world. I love classic music. Like I love old school rock music. The fucking Pointer Sisters.
So with Elton John and Collision, that
Which is
actually
also
makes a ton of
stupid.
sense.
No, that's stupid too. We sugarcoat that like, oh,
I
Saturday Night's So Right for Fighting. No, that's dumb.
I like that song. I'm not a fan of the Pointer Sisters. I'm not like, I'm not gonna go buy their records. In fact, I think this is the only song I've ever heard of from the Pointer Sisters.
It's the only song anyone's ever heard from the Pointer Sisters.
But when it comes on in commercials and in movies, I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. But as the entrance song to a wrestling TV show, it made no damn sense to me.
It didn't work. Okay. Here you go. This is what do I teach? I teach video production. I have a film degree. I worked in this business for 20 years. My whole thing, I'm very proud of myself. I've like as far as like video editing wrestling videos goes, I have done for amateur wrestling specifically, thousands upon thousands of highlight videos. I made very proud of myself for picking different songs, for making something work with like, oh, that song, I didn't think that song would work. And I was always very proud of myself that I was able to do it. And I can tell you for a fact, the Pointer Sisters does not work to action high-paced wrestling. It is a terrible, terrible choice. I will go to my grave with this. I don't know what Tony's thinking. I hope it was a 1 week thing. If we have the Pointer Sisters for the rest of time, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
Well, hopefully next week we can get It's a Raining Men. Hallelujah.
Why not? That's the Weather Girls, but I mean, you might as well. You're right there. Let's do Blame It on the Rain from Milli Vanilli. Like, why not that? How about the King of Wishful Thinking from Go West? Like, that's where we are with this. It's insanity.
Yeah, there was some. There were some really fragile white males on Twitter saying you guys are just too much into your new metal rock to respect the Pointer Sisters. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
We're not asking for new metal rock. It could be some hip hop, just something powerful, man. Come on, what the hell are we doing? This is action.
Like, okay, this is officially the second worst song to ever be used in a pro wrestling TV show. Nickelback. Still, can't rank anything below Nickelback. That was a terrible choice.
Still takes the cake.
Yeah,
I didn't really like the Across the Nation by by Rev. Was it Rev Theory?
I remember that one. That was terrible too.
That one was pretty bad. Oh, hold on, Lady B has got some news for us.
Oh,
well, you know what? Let me hit the button. Should I hit? I'm gonna hit the button for this news. Hold on.
Breaking news.
I love that.
Lady B says SRS is reporting that it's a permanent change. Cringe. Tony just likes the Pointer Sisters. What are we gonna do?
I quit this stupid promotion. Like the Pointer Sisters, the fucking Pointer Sisters. Like there's a million songs that are like I'm so excited. It's not even. I give up.
Maybe for Collision, we should change to Saturday Night Fever. Maybe we should have that song.
Why not? How about the Bay City Rollers?
Yeah.
SATURDAY night.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that one, Mike?
I don't that one might be out of my wheelhouse.
Well, it's because it's awful. But
Yeah.
I recommend. Can you share a YouTube video right now? Will we get nuked?
We'll get nuked. I don't mind nuking ours, but we'll nuke Rich and Joe's YouTube. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to screw Rich and Joe over.
Yeah,
but
we're for those of you that are Patreon subscribers, JD and I are actually here pretty soon. Within the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to move over to Patreon, and we're going to talk some Randy Savage in Memphis. So if we want to have illegal activity, we can do it over on Patreon because Patreon don't give a fuck. They'll let us do whatever we want.
$5 a month.
Yeah. So we after we get the Pointer Sisters, we go into like a pretty decent episode. I thought it's a really promo backstage kind of like all that stuff going on, but that's fun. This had some pretty good wrestling on it. But it was so bizarre that Adam Copeland just randomly decided to change his name to Cope.
Cope? It's like he missed having a one-syllable name. Like he was Edge, then he was Cope. It was funny. Cope was doing this, and the whole crowd was chanting, "Let's go, Adam!" Like, yeah,
I did agree they have too many Adams in that promotion, and Roderick Strong killed off the name Adam to me forever. So
also true.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was Brian Alvarez that said earlier this week. It's like, look, his nickname can be Cope, but the guy's name is Adam Copeland. Yeah. But if they want to just call him Cope in conversation, that's okay. But you still got to introduce him as Adam Copeland. What are we doing?
Well, it's like Bret Hart. Like people called him Hitman all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like
he has a nickname.
Yeah, you could call someone by their nickname. It's perfectly acceptable. But I mean, like, and the worst part is I have to listen to Excalibur say it, and I have lost all my tolerance for Excalibur. He's reaching Tony Schiavone in 2,000 levels of cringe for me. Like, and Adam, when he's like, he is choosing me known as Cope, and it makes me hate it even more having to listen to Excalibur say it. I have so grown to hate him.
Yeah, I was an early hater of Excalibur.
You were right.
He over enunciates. His announcer voice is fake. I don't believe for a second that he really sounds like that. He sounds like he's doing a Mauro Ranallo impression. Mauro Ranallo, that's his real voice. I listened to Mauro Ranallo on the radio for years. That's just how he talks, right? Excalibur is doing a Mauro Ranallo impression, and a poor one at that. He's not as cheesy as Mauro. Mauro is a cheese ball and a half and likes all the pop culture references. But Excalibur and he wants to over enunciate and overcall all the moves. I don't need to know every variation of the diamond cutter. Nobody cares what Dipfuck calls his diamond cutter. Nobody cares. But Excalibur has to say all those things, and he has annoyed me since day one.
Yeah, I've grown to just simply loathe Excalibur. And I'm like, Ian Riccaboni is employed by this company. Why can't we listen to Ian Riccaboni every week?
Yeah. I think Ian Riccaboni is really good. You know what? And I know that he got fired for being kind of a dipshit, but I thought Kevin Kelly was good. I have never had a problem with Kevin Kelly. I like Kevin Kelly.
I didn't think Kevin Kelly in AEW was great. I loved Kevin Kelly in Ring of Honor and New Japan. I thought that he didn't. I think that he just didn't fit into that company personally.
You know what? I agree with this sentiment. AEW needs to call Walker Stewart. I would make him announcer number 1 right now.
I am pretty sure that the New Japan people would absolutely hate Tony for that one. But I agree. Walker Stewart is excellent.
Yeah, and he's only like 23 years old.
Yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah, he's just a baby, but he sounds like a grown ass man. And he did such a good job at Wrestle Kingdom. I think if they don't got any paper on that guy, I think an American promotion is probably going to pick him up. He's just so damn good. Like he really is great.
Yeah, quickly. I hope AEW can get him before WWE tries. Because I'd rather see him in AEW than doing the Vince. Even though Vince is gone, they still do the Vince verbiage stuff.
Yeah, well, they just brought in Joe Tessitore, and I got a chance to listen to him the other day, and he actually is really good. He's probably, as far as play-by-play announcers, I don't think it's gonna be before too long. He might be the best if they just let him be Joe Tessitore. He was really good in college football and really good on Monday Night Football, and he's actually really good in wrestling, and so he
That
is
doesn't
like kind of a step above everybody as far as professionalism goes.
No, yeah, I agree with that. The problem is anytime WWE signs somebody that's from the outside, it doesn't work because they try to fit them in the mold. I mean, maybe they can get away from that a little bit with this
I
one.
I think when they've done that before, they were signing a lot of lower level guys that were not as big time as Joe Tessitore. Joe Tessitore is big time. It's like he's not as famous as Joe Buck, but he's like as far as like announcers for like real sports, like he's like right up there.
I get that, but we're in the Triple H era,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and yeah, but they also have the Lee Fitting, right? Who is the guy directing all this
For
stuff.
now.
Yeah, which turns out he's a creep.
Hey, Nick Khan's a scumbag. He knows a bunch of scumbags. None of us can be
Yeah.
surprised by that.
Yeah, well, Nick Khan was also Skip Bayless's agent. And there's accusations out on him today too. So
Mm-hmm.
Nick Khan kind of like delves into that world a little bit. So, so I just can't say enough good things about Joe Tessitore. And when they signed him, everybody's like, they're always signing these like real sports guys and bringing them in. They don't know pro wrestling. Like, yeah, but you don't know Joe Tessitore. Like this guy is like big time. Like, and he's actually doing a really good job.
Is he Raw or SmackDown?
He was Raw. He's doing SmackDown. Michael Cole is going to be the Netflix guy. So Michael Cole will be Raw. And then Tessitore SmackDown. So
I'm half tempted to watch the first Raw on Netflix, even though I hate the company. Like, I'm so interested because I saw what the ring is going to look like with all the sponsorship all over it. And it's just so foreign for what a WWE ring looks like to me. I'm actually mildly curious to see this. I'm half debating because my kid we make our kid pay for Netflix because he wanted Netflix so we could watch One Piece. So
Yeah.
my wife and I said, okay, fine, you're gonna pay for it. And he was like, I got
good.
this. So we're making our 8-year-old pay for Netflix. He's learning responsibility. Dude, he
Yeah,
got
what a hero. I love that.
he got a $50 comic book. We go to the comic book store. He got a $50 gift card from the comic book store and was like, he wanted this big $45 book. And he was like torn to sunder because he realized he would only have $5 left on his gift card. And he was like struggling. So the idea was to teach our son financial responsibility. And like, he's figuring it out. I'm very proud of him. But yeah, so as long as my kid's paying for Netflix, I thought maybe I'll check it out. I don't know.
So they're in the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles tomorrow night. And they have over 16,000 seats sold, tickets sold for that.
It's impressive.
They're doing a big thing. They had a big drone thing with a bunch of WWE stuff all over LA last night. It wasn't the Chinese invading us like they have been doing. I know what you're doing, China. I know those drones are you guys over New Jersey, over all our military bases. I know that's you. I've seen the documents. But anyway, this was actually Netflix doing like a big drone show.
Oh, you can tell somebody's retiring from the service is getting a little too comfortable.
Yeah, once I get my DD form 214, I'm gonna tell some secret. I don't have any secret. Don't tell me shit. But anyway, so they did a big drone show. But yeah, they have over 16,000 tickets sold, and WrestleTix, of course, put that up there. Less than 300 still available. So naturally, I quote tweeted it and said, "Wow, can't even sell it out."
How many people?
I got the Fed heads like after me. It's like, you idiot. And like somebody is making excuses for them not being able to sell. I was like, oh, these tickets are way too expensive. Of course they can't sell out, but they're still really hot. I'm like, it's a joke. Of course they're hot. We talked about last week the WWE's might have peaked already. I think we might have jumped the gun on that one because they're killing it right now. They had a bunch of sellouts everywhere. They went head to head with AEW World's End last week and sold more tickets in the same city than AEW's pay-per-view. They're still hot, okay? Like, so, but they're coming after me right now. I got the Fed heads after me. So
I do think they've peaked. I think that after this year's WrestleMania, because now we're in the hot season, right? This is WWE's like, this is when they go from like January through WrestleMania, because now we're gearing up. This Netflix thing is big. They're pushing it hard. Of course, you're gearing up for the Rumble, and then you're leading that into WrestleMania. So I do, like I said, I hear the voice of the youth. And the voice of the youth is telling me that it's not as cool as it used to be.
Yeah.
So we got to see. I'll give it 6 months to see if the kids are accurate or not.
So they got The Rock. Yeah. They got The Rock that's going to be on Netflix tomorrow. They got John Cena, of course, Cody Rhodes. There's a rumor, well, not a rumor, WWE teased on Tuesday on NXT that Joe Hendry might actually be there. So lots of stars are coming out. Even Joe Hendry might be there on Netflix. So it's going to be a big thing. I'm going to watch it. If you watch it and we're able to get together, let's talk about it this
Let's
week
do
at
it.
some point.
We could use some, yeah, I'm sure I'll just shit on it. So let's do that. That might be kind of fun for people.
Yeah. I don't know when we'd be able to, but we should probably, at least try to take a look at it now that we both have.
Worst comes to worst, we can cover it for the show next week. You know, we might, if this is, there's a chance it's a slow news week. Nothing has happened in pro wrestling in the last like 2 months.
Yeah, really, I've had like a lot of TNA stuff lately, but even that like slowed down over the weekend. I kind of yesterday's show, I kind of struggled to get through it. There wasn't much talk about. So I just reviewed the show.
Dude, there's nothing going on. Like it's so weird. Like a year ago, I felt like there was a major thing breaking like every single week. Like I remember we talked about like this is like wrestling was great. Like our numbers were through the roof. Like but it's been boring lately. Like it really kind of has. Like everything's kind of settled. Like it's neat that AEW and WWE have literally transitioned into a new era. Like we are totally in the streaming era of professional wrestling right now. Like, everything is different. It really is. Like now the ratings talk is useless, right? Ratings talk should be dead from here on out.
Yes,
because we don't know.
We don't know. I get the feeling that AEW fans are going to try to tell us that there's like 1 million people watching on Max, and there's not. Just like there was not 1 million people watching Saturday Night's Main Event on Peacock. That was not true. So, but yeah, numbers are going to continue to dwindle. The talk is going to be dead, but look, journalists need stories, and those typically get clicked on, so we're going to still get more of those, and it's unfortunate, but that's just the way that it is. Goodfella says Intuit Dome looks really cool. It's the brand new Clippers arena. The LEDs everywhere, so that fits in with what WWE likes to do with LED. And they got CM Punk and Seth Rollins are headlining the show. Yeah, so that's
big
gonna
main
be
event.
Big. That's gonna be a big draw, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's over 50,000 tickets sold for the Rumble, says Transferring Heat. So yeah.
Where's the Rumble again? What arena? What stadium's the Rumble in?
Indianapolis. Where the Colts play.
The dome. I forget what they call it. Lucas Oil? Is that what it is?
Lucas Oil Stadium. Yeah, it's where the Colts play. More people are going to go to the Royal Rumble than go to Colts games because Colts are terrible right now.
Colts are terrible. I can't. I ain't talking about anybody's football team. The Bears won a game against the Packers who didn't try.
Yeah, well, they should not have won that game. That's a stupid idea. They need the draft picks. Thankfully, the 49ers tanked against the Cardinals and sat everybody and played their third string quarterback just to make sure that they would lose today.
I will be the Bears. They should just sell the damn team. The McCaskies are awful. The worst owners in pro sports. If Ryan Poles has a job at the end of the season, I'll be astonished. But they probably will because Chicago sports are bad, and I'm being punished for liking the Bears in the 80s, I guess.
One of my favorite memes is like men pick their favorite sports teams when they're like 11, and then they're just tortured by them the rest of their lives. And goddamn, is that true?
So fucking true. I've been tortured by the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Bears my entire existence, and I lived through the Bulls being amazing and didn't give a fuck.
You just weren't a basketball guy?
Nah, I'm a wrestler. Like never really been into basketball.
When I was a kid, I was a big basketball guy. I played basketball, but I was a big Jordan fan. And then Jordan retires, and I got out of basketball for a little bit. And then Kobe starts to get hot with the Lakers, and so that brought me back. And then he retired, and I just haven't. And then he fucking died. So I really haven't been a big basketball fan since then. I'm more of a basketball highlights guy. So that's about it for my basketball fandom.
I think we just took it for granted here in Chicago because I was 4 when Jordan was drafted, and when he retired, I think I was a senior in high school. So it was like literally as I was growing up, and we just kind of took it for granted. Like I didn't really care, but I knew that it was going on. Like I watched all like the playoff game stuff because it was just like happening. Like it's just what you did. And I don't know. I never was like emotional about it. Yeah. But the Bears, they lose and like the fucking town shuts down. So I mean, like it's been like that for the last 20 years. I became a podcast guy because I remember one Monday I was listening to Bears Talk Radio after a loss. And I remember I pulled my car over and said, I can't do this to myself anymore. It ruins my day listening to these people be miserable all the time. Mm-hmm. And then I started listening to Steve Austin's podcast. And then I was a podcast guy from there on out.
Wasn't his podcast great?
Yes, it was. It was excellent.
Dude, I loved that podcast. I was sad when it went away, but
Yeah, he was great. He was a great
he was
podcaster.
great. That brother just likes messing around with his cats and his roosters and all that stuff on his farm. And
Dude, he's enjoying retirement. Like,
Yeah.
good for him. Like, he
Yeah.
can walk. He kept his money. He's fixed himself, right? Like, he had some real problems there during the
Mhm.
height of his run, and he left pro wrestling and became a better person. Like,
Yeah.
I think we should just let Steve Austin just be happy and live a good life. I'm so happy that he was able to come out of wrestling relatively healthy and, got mentally healthy, and he's a better man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for Steve too. I'm happy for you, JD. I hope you had a good holiday season.
You too.
I hope everybody had a good new year. We're starting the new year's off right. So please plop down $5. Head to patreon.com/the Mike and JD show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review, all that good stuff. And tell Rich and Joe that you like our show. That would mean a lot to me. I don't know that they know that you guys like us. So just drop them a line every once in a while. Hey, Mike and JD are good. So but that's gonna do it for us this week on the Mike and JD show. We're actually gonna take a break and head over to Patreon where we're gonna talk Macho Man Randy Savage, International Championship Wrestling, the feud with Memphis, and then him coming over to take on Jerry Lawler in Memphis. So we're talking some Randy Savage over on Patreon right after this. And until next time. Sorry, I lost my brain for a second.
You told like, what are we doing?
I just forgot what I was doing. All right, everybody. And until next time, mahalo.
Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. A made no rain from the track when we unite and spit. This isn't A game, better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick, it's the click, so I hope you watch your A game. A made no rain from.
If we ever get news